Well, it's a lovely morning. There's no wind, but that's completely normal for the Ionian. Quite often you get here and there's just no wind until sort of lunchtime, and then you get force 4 or so. Around here, back where we've just come in, it really does sort of blow off the mountains. It's a little local effects, and that's, you'll see if you look at the water at the moment, you've got flat bits and darker bits, and that's just the different bits of green coming off the land. So it gets really fluky in the morning. If you try and sail in it, you're sort of backwards and forwards all over the show, and then you'll see the whole sea will then start to ripple and go darker, and that's because you've got the actual prevailing wind, normally here from the west, coming in, and then you know what you're going to get. Normally in the afternoon it comes up to a 4 or something, and you can get some good sailing. So I mean, it's lovely from that, very predictable. That's why it's sort of such a popular place to sail, I think, this.
Welcome to Greece, the land where it's calm in the morning and windy in the afternoon.
Yeah, and as you can tell, it's the afternoon now. We're sheltering the doghouse.
We are, but at least today it's a little bit cooler because it's been incredibly hot.
Yeah, you'll hear us whinge a lot about the heat in this coming episode. We normally have at this point a coming up, but there's so much that's happened in this episode, we're scrapping that, and we're going to start with marvellous Montenegro.
I hope you like the film.
Go around in a circle here so we can give you a 360 view of these
yeah.
mountains, because they do go all the way around us. It is pretty incredible, this place, isn't it?
We're in Kotor Bay. We've come up to the northwest side of it because there's a stream which we're headed for which has cold water, and I can't tell you how much we need cooling down. It's just incredible. I think the whole of Europe's had it, but it's just been going on and on. Every time you talk to somebody local, they say, oh yeah, this is so unusual for this time of year. Well,
Yeah.
10 days later.
It's close to 40 degrees, and swimming off the boat where we are now, what did you describe it as, a raspberry ripple the other day?
Yeah, because there has got this this cold water coming in as well, so you go into warm bits and cold bits, just like flowing through. It's really lovely.
It is, it's amazing. I've never had anything like it. Sometimes you get a level, the other side of Kotor Bay, you swim down sort of 10 metres, it suddenly goes freezing cold because there's sort of fresh water on top and sail line underneath. But here it's just one bit after another, freezing cold, boiling hot. I mean, really, really hot.
The cold water comes from a mountain stream, and it's delicious in all this heat. Many of the locals are spending all day here. But we decide to take a trip inland where we're told the air is 10 degrees cooler. The winding road is perfect for a rally, so we aren't surprised to see this. An annual event which holds up all traffic for several hours. Once we get moving again, we head for Lake Skadar, where we're planning to go kayaking. There's only one main road here, so we have to go up into the mountains in order to come down to the lake, and that's where we're going. The lake is virtually empty, so the lilies are taking over. One thing about the lack of tourists is the wildlife here is thriving. Our guide and owner of the kayaks is Ben, who runs an adventure holiday company called Undiscovered Montenegro. He's lived and worked here for years.
Well, Montenegro packs more bang per buck into its small size than pretty much any country I've ever been to. But Lake Skadar in particular is amazing because apart from this astonishing lake, which is 400 square kilometres of playground. And it's fed by 27 underground springs and 4 rivers, which means that even when we're going out hiking in the middle of summer, there's always a waterfall or something to jump into, which means we can offer multi-activity adventures all the way through the summer. We're not limited to the water itself. And this area happens to also be wine country. So we've got 40 boutique wineries on our doorstep, which we didn't even know when we first moved in.
In the middle of the lake, the remains of a prison where all the inmates had to sign an affidavit promising they couldn't swim. The only known breakout was by 3 men who used a cell door as a raft. Apparently, the prison guards couldn't swim either, so they got away. The tour includes a brief stop for lunch, and then, incredibly, we see pelicans. This is very unusual at this time of year, and we are so lucky to get this close.
It's actually a bit of a bird spotting mecca, and you can see all kinds of amazing species, including summer visitors like golden orioles, bee eaters, cuckoos. You know, we got lots of pretty kinds as well, but not so much on the lake. Those tend to be year-round residents.
The lake is also cool, and Steve couldn't resist any longer.
That's better.
Now it's time to cool the boat down.
So I just do my evening wash down of the decks. It's a good thing to do, I mean, mainly because the teak likes to stay moist, not to dry out too much. And you can see just from this, these pegs, which are normally too tight to pull out, have become very loose. Everything dries out. So as I say, salt water is the best thing for the teak, and because it's boiling hot here, just the evaporation from that, if you do it in the evening, will cool the whole deck down and cool the boat down. And we're trying to do as many things as possible to cool the boat down at the moment. We need to do more, really. We need to have something sort of in the middle. I think we'll get something made up in Turkey that covers like a tent, so if we're anchored for any length of time, we can put that over. I mean, we've had 40 degrees now for a couple of weeks, and it gets too much. This as well, the bimini here needs to have some sides. So I think we'll get a new one made that can roll out and also come back, probably sort of up to join up to where the solar panels are. Solar panels are good because they shade the whole of the aft cabin here. We've got the barbecue going because it's too hot to cook indoors. You don't want to be heating the cabin up doing that. So yeah, do as much as possible. I'll probably get a wind chute as well, I think, for one of the hatches at least. And there's no air around at the moment, but 9 times out of 10 you get some, and if you've got a wind chute, then hopefully that'll do something. So I'll add that to the winter list.
The next morning we leave before the sun is up. The wind is finally right for our journey south. Well, it is very early, very beautiful at this time of day, absolutely flat calm, perfect. And we're on our way to Greece. On our way through, we pass these artificial islands, which were created by sinking old and seized ships loaded with stones. The church, called Our Lady of the Rocks, is now a museum. But more on our mind today, and our reason for leaving so early, is here. Duty-free fuel. Yes, half-price diesel, folks. That's a significant saving for us and anyone else. But you can only get it as you leave the country. So how much are we going to have?
We're going to fill her up. She's almost empty. So that's over 600 litres. And yeah, cheapest fuel we've ever had anywhere.
Because it's tax-free?
Because it's tax-free, it's cheap anyway. Even if you don't get the tax-free, it's cheap here. But with tax-free, it's ridiculously cheap.
So here we are, the moment of truth.
Yes, 64 cents a litre, cheapest ever.
We haven't had full tanks for a very long time.
No, we've done it quite well. I'm basically going on fumes. I've got about 10 litres left in the forward tank and a couple in in the middle tank and nothing in the aft tank at all. So we really are making use of it.
And we booked, what, a couple of days ahead of time, but I guess at peak season.
Well, they say you sometimes you have to book weeks ahead, yeah.
Yeah, but it's worth it. And don't try and do customs before you come here. They do customs.
It's tricky because you've got to check out, but not check out fully because they can't stamp your passport. Then you've got to come here and then they stamp your passport. Lots of forms to fill in, but you do get very cheap fuel. So.
And we ought to have a Fair Isle stamp. We haven't done that yet.
Yeah, apparently. Yeah, I think that's what these big boats have to get things in without paying tax. You have a stamp. You need your own stamp. You have to make one up.
I think we'll have to get one.
Yeah. Sure, I don't need to use the funnel for this one because it's going to be clean fuel, but it actually helps because it spits back these tanks if I fill too quick, so it sort of stops that happening. I think it's better overall.
Does it slow it down?
Well, yeah, I haven't got the finger on the trigger all the way. It could go faster, and some of the pumps they go here go incredibly fast. They can fill a gallon a second in some of these things.
Well, they need to. They've got super yachts to fill.
Yeah, someone said the biggest they've had something is something like 1 million litres. Someone.
Incredible.
By midday, we are out at sea with the wind on the back quarter. The only problem is the swell. We manage to stabilise the main with a preventer, but it soon becomes clear we need to pole out the Yankee.
Yeah, go.
That involves setting the pole up with guy lines. Once that's done, we wind the Yankee in, clip the pole onto the working sheet and adjust the height of the pole. Ideally, we want it horizontal. If these conditions stay as predicted, we should reach Corfu in 3 days.
Sun's just going down behind a cloud there. It's been pretty choppy waters. We're still poled out there on our way to Albania. We've been going pretty steadily. I reckon we've got about 3 knots most of the way. I'm leaning against the doghouse here because it is still pretty choppy. We're going to put the engine on now, I think, and just go around the corner so that we don't hit Albania, and then we'll be on our way to Greece. So another night, but then we'll be there tomorrow at some point.
Little slither of moon, which is quite useful actually. I'm just using that, just placing at the edge of the wheel to hand steer at the moment because I don't want to use the auto helm with our very depleted house bank. The auto helm actually works really hard when you've got a bit of a following swell, so it will run that half a sort of battery that we've got left completely flat if I use it all night. So yeah, I'll sit here and do this and watch the stars. It's really quite a nice warm night at least, so quite happy.
On another occasion, we'd love to explore Albania. We've heard very good reports, but we don't have much time and are keen to get to Greece. We're also sailing pretty slowly, and well, you can't do everything. But you can fish. Someone told Steve that just before dawn is the best time. Did he catch anything? Don't ask.
As soon as the sun comes up, it is as if by magic we are now sailing. There we go. 7 knots. Can't beat a good sunrise. We're on our way to Greece. We should get there early afternoon. And the wind, such as it is coming off the land, which is fantastic. Yeah, stroke of luck.
The good wind didn't last long, but we're still steady and the breeze is on the beam. When we arrive, we have to check in.
Okay, Captain. Good luck.
Yeah, it's one office right over there and the other one right the other side of the port authority. They don't make it easy, any of these places. I don't know why.
Okay, I'll make lunch.
Let's see. They reckon it takes about 2 to 3 hours. So.
Bye.
Lunch became dinner, but all the paperwork got done and then we slept.
Well, we made it. We're here in Corfu. We're in the normal anchorage, which is underneath that, the citadel. Pretty packed in here. We took about 4 hours getting through immigration yesterday. It's all fairly chaotic. 2 different places you have to go to, and no one seems to be able to pay this Taipei thing, which you have to do online. Everyone's having problems with that, but we got there in the end and they were all very helpful and nice, so it's fine. So yeah, gonna go and explore and have a look at Corfu town.
Pretty boats and a pirate ship. Welcome to Greece.
Yay, pirate ship.
You're not supposed to wave at the pirates.
I know.
You're supposed to get your sabre out and rattle your sabres.
I know, I always believe in making friends. It's much safer.
And a mega yacht. Privately owned, this one. Something to do with Microsoft. Our look around Corfu town was brief. I can report the shops are open and they serve good coffee. But we want to get moving.
Well, it's a lovely day. Unfortunately, we haven't got any wind for sailing at the moment. We've got about 4 knots behind us, but that's not unusual for Greece, really. It normally comes up here in the afternoon, a bit of a northwesterly in the Ionian that comes down, and we're just going past Paxos and Anti-Paxos, these 2 islands, down towards the area around Lefkas, which is somewhere I sailed about 35-40 years ago with my dad, so it's going to have changed a little bit since then. So yeah, we're looking forward to getting out there. You can see actually in the distance, you might not be able to pick it up on camera, a little darker patch just there. That's where the wind is. So within about half an hour we should be in that and sailing, I hope.
We did sail the rest of the way to Preveza, where we stopped for a couple of days. Past the fish farms and some natural wildlife too. That's a turtle, by the way. You'll just have to take my word for it. There's a big port here, and we happen to pass this ship taking sailing boats back to the UK. One consequence of Brexit is that UK registered boats have to get back to the UK by the end of this year. Otherwise, the owner will have to pay VAT all over again in order to return. These owners are paying around £10,000 for shipping. That's quite a sting. Hey ho. And this forest of masts is a harbour for boats kept out of the water when not in use. It's called dry sailing and is much cheaper than wet marinas. Saves on the anti-fouling too. Preveza is a good staging post to get further south and the popular sailing grounds around Lefkas, Meganisi and Ithika. It looks like a long way, except there is a bridge here near Lefkas. The bridge opens every hour on the hour, and as you can imagine, the channel can get quite crowded, especially at this time of year. So we grit our teeth, find a time with some good wind and sail down. What can I say? We fly.
Came down at about 7 knots, but luckily looking up ahead the queue's still there, so I think we should just be able to tag in at the end. And there's not too many. We were told that sometimes there's 20, 30 boats. I think I counted 10, maybe 12. One more coming up behind us as well, so hopefully we'll be alright.
And that's the bridge, a roll-on, roll-off ferry that acts as a road when it's in place. By the time we get there, around 20 past the hour, it's been a long wait for the road users. But quite a sight too.
So coming through the canal here is the start of the big playground area, if you like, Meganisi, Kefalonia, Ithika, all around there. It's been 40 years almost since I was here, and at that stage there was hardly any boats because you couldn't actually get here, you couldn't fly to Preveza. That was a military airport, and you had to fly to Corfu and come down here. So there wasn't really any charter yachts down here at that stage. I think things have changed a tad since then.
Lefkas is full of charter yachts, restaurants and people having a good time on boats. Some even join us on the sail south, which by now is rather leisurely.
So this is quite nice, actually sailing down the canal.
Got slightly less control than we had mentioned of, but everyone's up ahead now. We're at the back, which is where I like to be.
Usual position. But yeah, it's lovely. It's peaceful. Who'd have thought?
No, it's lovely. I mean, it might even pick up. You never know, because we've got another couple of hours easy.
We're going to go to Nidri. Yeah, that's about 2 hours away. And that's going to be a bit packed, I think, from all accounts. We'll see. There was about 2 tavernas there last time I was there. Now, someone we met the other day said there's the biggest chandlers they've seen anywhere in the world in Nidri. So we should see.
There's more than one place to anchor as well, isn't there?
Oh, it's quite a big area, yeah, because it's sort of a lagoony thing, below it, big bay. So
it could be fine.
Before it was just the town quay.
Nothing can possibly go wrong.
And actually it doesn't go wrong, that is. And the landscape is remarkably green and fertile. It looks a bit like England.
Very particular type of fishing, I think.
Yeah, a very long rod. Gee, looks like a stick.
It does.
We have a lovely slow sail down to Nidri and find an anchorage called Tranquility Bay. We're not the only ones here by any means, but there's plenty of space and it is quite tranquil.
Yes, it's been quite a shock to the system for us to see as many boats in one place. We're not used to that. But I think is that the boats are here and people are gradually being able to come out for their holidays, which is good.
Yeah, I mean, look, it's a very busy area, that area of around Lefkas and Kefalonia, and there were lots of charter companies there. And I know that the British ones opened up just the week that we got there. It was the first time that the Brits could come there, so it was getting busy. But we're told not as busy as a normal year.
Yeah, so it must have been it would be pretty busy
Very
normally.
busy, yeah.
Anyway, we're heading south now because we want to go around the bottom of Greece in order to find a weather window to get us up to Athens.
Yeah, the prevailing wind there, the strong wind, is a Meltami, and that comes northeast, so it's dead against where we need to go. Looks like there might be a bit of a respite as we get sort of the end of this week, so we're hoping to take advantage of that, aren't we?
So the next few days we'll be doing some pretty heavy sailing in quite heavy wind by the sounds of things, so that could be exciting.
Yeah, that'd be good.
Oh yeah, before I forget, Timothy Bain, you won a Bluetti and we haven't heard from you. I have emailed you and
Yeah, you didn't
anyone,
watch the last episode.
anyone who knows Timothy Bain, please let him know he's won a Bluetti, otherwise we'll have to, well, we've got another name out of the hat, so we'll have to pass it on to the next person.
We give it to the weekend. If we don't hear, then yeah, we'll give it to that third person.
Yeah, meanwhile,
Meanwhile,
thank you to our patrons and thank you to our subscribers, and thank you for watching, and hopefully we'll be in Athens by the next time we do a broadcast.
yeah, maybe if we get some really good sailing.
Thank you for watching.
Thanks for watching.